Okay, and welcome everyone to our August Learn Over Lunch. If you are just joining us, could you please rename yourself with your name and your network organization on your Zoom screen there? Today we have CJ Page from Community Health Action Network. Y'all have been a network member for a few years now. Do you remember what year you joined the network, CJ?
Yeah, I believe it was early part of 2019.
Okay, I thought that was about when I came on staff. So, yeah,
Right.
they've been network members for 2.5 years, and CJ is going to just share a little bit about how their programming has evolved and how they've been working with planting fruit trees in the high desert. And we're going to hear from CJ for a bit. He has a few slides to share, and then afterwards we'll open up for questions, and then we'll close out with a couple breakout rooms so people can talk in smaller groups and just chat with one another. So with that, I'll go ahead and pass it off to you, CJ.
Okay, I will go ahead and share my screen, and I get carried away with slides, but I end up slowing this one down and got just a few. But feel free to ask any question.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, here we go.
All right, we got you.
Okay, thank you, Deborah. Getting this together.
All good.
I'm not as strong in admin, but get me in the field. That's my baby.
Yeah. All right. Beautiful.
Well,
You got it.
this is basically our beginning, and we come together basically through our community engagement back in 2013, and we all wanted to be part of the community and sharing the how we can provide for the community and the resident.
Are you taking off?
Huh?
Go ahead. I think that was an accident.
Oh, okay. So we decided to come together and talk about exactly the role that we want to help. And we started taking statistics and data, and we realized that there was a lot of family that was in need. And we wanted to be able to help those families, to include the low-income family in the population. So this is providing food for our residents and disadvantaged population. So we got together and decided that we wanted to do a community garden and plant some fruit trees. So as you see that we all gathered right there because this is several places that we had. And this is one of the hardest thing is getting people involved, to be perfectly honest. That's the hardest thing, but we was able to do that. So as we got together, this is called the Community of Excellence. And as we start talking about the disparities, it have come up that we are looking at different grocery stores. So with our partner of the Community of Excellence came the public health of nutrition department. This is who was overseeing us and giving us the guidelines of what we can and cannot do and reporting to and writing reports. So this became a very significant feature for us. So as we market, as we did what we call walkability. So we had to go to the different places and do a walkabilities, go to the stores, the market, and look at the prices to try to bring down those prices and see what we need to do through our CX3 residents. So this was the goal, was to bring down the prices of fruits and vegetables in order to make it easier for people to have a healthier and wellness of lifestyle. So as we start getting together and we connected with our partners, we was able to start looking at the areas. And this area here is the senior center. This was one of the areas that we knew the community of low income will be coming as the senior center and the opportunity for them to be able to get fresh fruits and vegetables. So as a way to combat this, we decided to plant fruits trees and make them accessible for everyone. So that was my goal. If they can accept my goal and the priority of our resident, we can be a partner. And they had to go and discuss it. They contacted me. We had a meeting, and it was like, yes, we definitely want you guys to be part of that. So we got together. And once again, we averaged anywhere between 33 to 40 some odd residents that was coming together on a monthly basis. This is how this happened. So I knew I needed just about everybody because I'm not the best feeling. During this particular time, honest with you, I was having chronic, being in the combat and military, my knees was getting really, really bad. So So the two guys that you see there was my strong workers. The other gentleman next to him that's in the middle, this is one of our great workers. His name is Jim Hill. He have a lot of a big old farm, and he came to work with St. Mary. St. Mary introduced me to him. Then he became a very house name to working with us to help us get the regurgitation, the water, and all that. We didn't know nothing. Be honest with you, we blinded. We just wanted to be able to have fruit trees. We wanted to help our community. But Jim Hill was really sensational of guiding us to be able to get the things that we needed. And that's one thing I'm glad about partnership. Without the partnership, we wouldn't be able to do anything. So we was able to get our residents involved, and we connected with some of the school district that was over there that wanted to see how this was working. So you'll see a little bit of that a little bit later. So as you see, we began to start planting the fruit trees. And with our partners that make this happen, we couldn't have did it without the California Relief. So once again, we're always grateful and thankful. This is what makes us who we are. Partners with different people and been able to do this for the very first time. And with the California Relief funding, we was able to bring residents out that they was excited. It was so much resident. We had to put people in different areas to make this work. Children wanted to get involved. They wanted to really lay their hands on it and plant these fruit trees. So this is one of the things that I was so gratefully was able to get with the people, work with them, talk with them, motivate them, and keep them in a very, and then it was hot, let me admit, it was burning up hot. So we had to work a lot of things out to make this work and then get the water to put everything together. But it was more than what it sounds like. It's a lot of work. I'm really sugarcoating a great deal, but it was a lot of work to getting the trees. Kim Anderson, the lady that's in the picture, fantastic worker. She was the one that found it for us. It was very reasonable when we was able to go out there, use her van to be able to pick everything up. And I was able to purchase all the equipment that we need. So that was a blessing. That really was. So we did this in 3 locations. And the first location is where we planted the fruit trees in different areas of our Old Town Victorville, which was the greatest need. Old Town Victorville was the greatest need. So if you see in the first picture, this is Jim Hill here. And as you see, he began to now start putting the water in there, and he put the regurgitation and having everything ready. Old Town Victorville, right here, is where we began to just lay out the foundation. So it was a senior center, Old Town Victorville, and we also did it in the north side of Victorville as well, which is what this third slide is, to be able to work with the homeless and for them to have a place to go to pick the fruit trees. On the far right side, though, there is a building, that's a vacant building that's owned by, it's called the High Desert Physical Health Collaboration Corporation, and they was donating that whole land for us to be able to do this. Another partner was coming in so we could have an education and finances to work with the homeless population and to give them a opportunity to be able to pick the fruits, eat, and at the same time able to sign up to for job readiness and getting them back into the society. Those that did not want to do it, then we didn't have we couldn't work with them. But those that was anxious and excited, we was able to process that and get them going. This is our love right here. This is Dr. McKinney. That is the lady next to me. That's Dr. McKinney. The building is what you see, is what she donated. Kim Anderson is the one that got the champion for change. She's the one that did a lot of ripping and running to help us to bring that to full intuition. So the community showed up and volunteers used their trucks and transported their trees and used the tools, that some of them that I had, some of them that other people bought, and planted the trees all over this Old Town Victorville area, which is the high destitute area. Trust me, this is where you want to, if anything, that's where you want to have it at. The residents just was faithful. So you see different, Pablo, my good friend, he was anxious to get things started. He's in Adelanto, but he wanted to support the Victorville. Dr. Bowtie, he was one of the great people that really shared his insight. He's a pharmacist and was working with us very closely to be able to make sure we can do everything accordingly, serve the purpose of our residents and for the Old Town Victorville. This is just a success story, basically. We involved the school that came in to plant the fruit trees, and as you can see that these are people, the mayor came out 100%. We had a ribbon opening and cut the ribbon, and kids from some of the school came and really wanted to put their hands into it, so we had to watch them very closely, but it picked up. Everybody really was enjoying it. So as a result of the success, it impacted and of the fruit trees, and it offered a great deal of spread the wealth that people wanted to be part of. And one of them was the city of Adelanto. Adelanto contact me, contact also Kim Anderson. We had to sit down and see what we can do. They have new area that's coming up, and they wanted to be part of this, and they wanted to, based upon the success that we had. So I'm very satisfied. I'm very blessed by so many volunteers was wanted to see their city, be part of their city, and most of all, be able to work together. So my job as a facilitator, and this is one of the things, Michelle, that you was talking about. We put our thoughts together, and Kevin from St. Mary Medical Center had this opportunity for us to get a couple of people, their masters, their food handlers, and their I can't even think of the word, what that word that you said, master gardener. So with that, we can hide the guidance, we can get the education, is which we did, and we did it right there. There's a spot that's on the side of the building that before we did anything, people will come, and like if you see right on the picture here, there was a big poster of the fruit trees of what we planted, and she was able to talk about those fruit trees and how we got things underway to do that. What was the cost that we was looking at, and how many fruit trees that we are intending on planting just as a pilot, and able to also work with other residents so they can be able to have the same location, Old Town or and city of Adelanto, and the most area that they feel will be most needed at. So this is what we had shared. This is what we had began to do as our city grow. And there's so much talk still that wants to do more, because we have opportunity to plant more fruit trees, but we're just looking at different locations and partnership to make this accessory to everyone. But right now, my heart is going out to the city of Adelanto, especially with the seniors that wants to be involved in that and be able to see their own city grow with the gardener and being able to take part of that. Some of the schools that they want to be able to connect with, and it's a little small mini area for a park recreation area that they wanted to plant. So until I see if we can pull this together again, then I will jump back on it, because I'm always there. My dear friend, which is right in the middle of here, she was the one that really kind of lit the train and got us started with the California release. That's how all this was able to work. And she works with us closely from start to finish. And just the people that we had, guys, was very, very enriched in knowledge. So I'm grateful, very, very grateful. So that's a little backdrop of Community Health Action Network and its community planting fruit trees.
Thank you. I'm going to stop your share so that we can all see each other. Such a master at bringing together all different partners around a project and
Yes.
making a community event with lots of different services for the community. So
And
thank
to
you so
have
much for
our
sharing.
mayor that was really much down with it. She's not the mayor now. She didn't get that reelected, but guess what? We are right shoulder to shoulder with the other mayor that is in now, Deborah Jones, and she is comes out to Chan's events. She came out and supported our Christmas special, our toy giveaway, our turkey drive, and everything else. So I told her to be on the lookout if we plant some more trees, and she was very, very open to that. So we do have a strong residents. We do meet. We do continuously to give them information of things that we're working on.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead, Michelle.
Sorry, I was wondering, CJ, about how you continued the health of the fruit trees. Do you have regular uh, people who examine the trees, or regular work days that help them? I saw in some of the material that there was, please take the fruit that you want to eat. No single person clears it all, but who looks after the maintenance of the trees?
And that's a good question, Michelle. It's our partnership. There's a commitment of 5 years that we wrote up prior to everything, and make sure each person committed to what they said they're going to do. One of the biggest things is the expense of water, as you know. So with the commitment of the 5 years, and then eventually translating over for us to take over, which would be Chan, we will keep that up. So we do have the residents, and Dr. McKinney, who you've seen earlier, and Kim Amberson is committed to the cause to continuously to keep the work going. So we have volunteers that come in, they have volunteers that keep it up. So in each of the cities or that we planted, each one have their own that we created an MOU of responsibility to do that. I wasn't stepping out here blindly. I couldn't do that because I had the overseer of the nutrition, public health. And our guideline was very specific. As we get the partner, we need to state the responsibilities and for how long. And then and I didn't share this, but I would like to share this because you brought this up. This turned into a policy system change. This gave us the greatest reward to work with this resident. I was able to, and that's when I went to Sacramento, and we was able to bring that up and show some slides of what we were doing, because it became a policy system change for our community.
Great. Thanks, CJ.
Thank you.
Anybody else have questions?
I can ask another one.
Ryan, I think,
I'm really intrigued.
Ryan unmuted himself. We can go to Ryan and then come back to you, Michelle.
Sure.
Yeah, just real quick. I just had a comment. I'm familiar with, my name is Ryan Beering, and I have a nonprofit, San Bernardino Fatherhood. I live in Highland, and I'm well familiar with Victorville and Adelanto. It's hot.
Yes.
It's hot, and so what you're doing, I applaud you. I think it's well needed, and that's something I'm doing. I'm looking at doing here in the city of San Bernardino and Highland as well. It's hot here in San Bernardino and Highland, but it's much needed in our community, and I want to encourage you to continue to doing what you're doing, and also because what you're doing would be a support to what I would like to do here in our community. Also, we're reaching out to our board of supervisors and
Yes.
getting them, educating them on the importance of greenery and planting trees in our communities, but most specifically for our disadvantaged and low-income communities. So what you're doing, I really applaud you. If there's any kind of way that I can help or be a support, I'm willing to do so.
Oh, that'd be an honor.
I'm just starting off myself, so I really appreciate what you're doing. I just want to say that.
Yes, thank you. And let me add something, because planting the fruit trees was the visionary for the residents. So that was our job, to facilitate and to get the right things together to bring this to full course. I never look at where it's going to lead. But one of the things that it did lead was an opportunity to, and Cindy was part of this, for working with the urban heat. That was something that was different, and we had the volunteers, and we offered them the opportunity to get more involved into the community. So as our next meeting unfolded, we talked, and we had about, I guess, anywhere between 12 to 15 residents that came out to do the urban heat. And after that take place, it got into one of the papers, and it was very highly praised. Now we're working with strategic strategies and a partnership with the city of Victorville and our environmental justice. And this is what I wanted to say, because you never know where it might lead, just based upon you doing the work. And this has now led into a great partnership and an opportunity for a 2-year funding to be able to work with the wellness and the environmental justice for our city of Victorville. And so I'm excited about that, because we're continuously to grow, and it grows because of our resident and their voice. So we call it Let Your Voice Be Heard. And this is where it all kind of planted from. So I'm grateful for that.
CJ, could you speak a little bit about what you're doing with Urban Heat Island? And because that was another thing that came out of some of the fruit tree stuff, right? That
Yes, yes. Well, we was got called. Keisha, who is my program director, contacted me and shared with me that someone had called and contacted them and wanted to work together for a for the urban heat. I really didn't know that much about it until I got pretty much into it. But it was taking the ratio of the heat and seeing how hot, again, like he said, like Ryan was talking about, it is hot up here. And during those particular time period, Sarah, it was burning up heat. So the volunteer came out and we partnered them up with each other, and we gave them the equipment that they need to go and get the ratio of the heat, and everything worked out perfectly. So they assessed it, they did the analysis of it, and it showed that Community Health Action Network was very instrumental of making this happen. So yes, I was very proud, and it hit their college paper and got into a front page news that I guess Keisha has that, but I was very proud to be part of that and watch this grow.
very cool. Yeah, it's important to get that measured and talking about it. Yeah.
But it's hot though.
It's hot. Okay, Michelle, you're up. What was your next question?
So CJ, you're really impressing me with your ability to network and bring other groups together. And I wonder how did you maintain your own, I guess, your own focus of what you wanted to achieve when all these other organizations must have had their own pulling goals and could potentially sideline you in your focus. How did you handle that? Because you obviously did a great job getting them on board and keeping them on board.
Yes, I'm solidly strong in outreach. Keisha is strong in administration, so I kind of piggyback back to her to be able to put things together. Why? Because I had other things that I had to take care of, like you said. So getting it lit and getting it together, I shared that with him when we was in a meeting that I can't do everything. We can't do all this, so everybody had to step up and be accounted for. So they did. Each person had their role that they was able to do, and Keisha was the management of all that, so I was able to fade back. So after everything was open that first day and she took the names and got the name, I was able to get other projects and join other meetings to continuously the growth of our city. So it worked out, but it didn't happen that way overnight. It was things that I got pulled back in constantly. Don't get me wrong, but it was something that I'm very strong at, and I love doing. I love working with people, and to see children faces and parents that get involved. We created what we called a fitness center, a fitness fit Zumba. And we average about 25 to 30 participants a mother that come in that couldn't normally afford to go to your 24-hour fitness and all that. So we created a fitness free. So Zuma, we got the instructor who was able to continue to do that. So a lot of my resources and network was building it, getting together, putting it together, partnering up with the city, now have a place in an outlet for them to go. And then I go back and say, hey, we need you guys' help. You guys want to get involved with some advocacy work, so we make it fit. So there were 3 outlets that I was able to pull from the CX3 from the 2013 that they wanted. Fitness was one of them, reducing prices, fruits and vegetables, and the obesity rate for children and stuff. So I used that to my perfection and was able to get clinics, and that's how I got with the Dr. McKinney, so they can be able to work with our community. So they come to us and wanted to get more with the community. So to your question, my networking is a great large collaborative. Same thing we did with our food pantry. It didn't happen overnight. It was what they wanted, to have access to more fruits and vegetables. So food pantry is what we tied into, got with the rescue mission, and we created this food collaborative that had everybody who was doing food come together under one umbrella and be able to bring in. We started off with 12,000 pounds, and now we end up with more than we had a HUD, which is the High Desert Second Chance, and they became the fixture. So we go to that HUD and get all the food we need without going down to Los Angeles and getting food. It's putting things together, and those 3 obstacles is what I facilitated to bring those together, but using our resources, using our network, and definitely using our partnership to make this work. and it couldn't have done it without either. So I'm strong, no money, but strong in networking. That's my finances, the networking and partnership. So that's how it works at Michelle.
Yeah. What a great resource.
Yes. We can't do it without having the partners to be able to see the vision. And when you see something like that, it really works. So we're looking for the future and looking for our partners with the California Release to eventually doing more fruit trees, but now taking it into a faster growth so it can be able, I mean, when you first learn it, you see how long it takes. When you start getting into it more, then you understand what the trees are about and what it takes to get the fruits going and how fast that they can grow. So with Michelle, who I work with, and she's also a board member. So she's one of my board members, and getting her knowledge wanted to be part of that. And that's how that worked out. So it worked out to our behalf.
CJ, you just mentioned a little bit about what my question was going to be is, when do you expect these trees to begin to produce fruit or have some of them already?
Yes.
And do you foresee growing enough fruit to actually help supply your food pantries from the fruit trees and not just having families be able to go pick? And how big is this going to get, do you think?
And that's a good question. I see it with the partnership of everybody maintaining to be able to do more. Because you're right, you can't, we got to look at the population. So that's why we're looking at doing more. But the sensation of it and the success of it is definitely going to be those people that we partner up with the food pantry to make that the great success. So it's not something that I look at to say, okay, this is going to be a lot, because it is, because you got people that's coming in. And one of the questions that you asked is really, really a good one. That's why we learned from 2019, because it takes a long time to produce. So during the next time, we learned through Michelle how it can go faster. But you pay a little bit more, but it can produce it. That's what we're doing now. We'd rather pay more to get the better quality that can produce faster. So like I said, I wasn't a genius coming into this thing, and I'm still learning as each day go by. But I'm grateful because I'm able to see how it works. I'm grateful because I'm seeing it come before my eye, and to bringing the people together to keep it. The hardest thing, it was always going to be, is regurgitation, is your water. That's going to be the hardest thing. If somebody say, hey, we want to do a fruit tree, first thing I'm going to look at, say, where? And do you have somebody to be able to manage this? I won't jump out there the way I jumped out there, because that's what got to me. And so learning under Jim Hill, I learned a great deal. And going into his sessions and classes, I learned a great deal. If you want to do it, you want to get a little knowledge under you to be able to be ready for what's about to come and what's about to happen.
Who is Jim Hill?
Jim Hill is our master gardener.
Oh, okay.
And he has his own nonprofit, which is, I can't think of it right off the bat, but he has a lot of fruits and vegetables. He got a big acre, and he brings his to the store. He takes his, get them together along with his volunteers, and they takes them to the food pantry. That's why I was saying earlier, the food pantry is our biggest success. I got the senior center, they're nourishing. They are nourishing. It looks beautiful, and it's ravished. I mean, it's coming up beautiful. So yes, but it takes the work of the master gardeners, Michelle and Jim Hill, to keep that going. Can't do it without them, because we didn't know. We just jumped into it. But with that guidance, it helps us. With the public health guidance, it all works together. It all works together.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Oh, Irene just unmuted yourself.
Yeah, I was wondering, what are the different types of locations you've been able to plant in? Have you mostly just done like households or schools and parks, or have you also started doing things like planting on the street right away?
Yeah, we have pretty much the street, the Old Town Victorville. We also have a little, it's two parts, an Old Town where I work at, and then there is a further back, and that built a little like a barn. So when people go through, it'll say fruit trees, and it'll tell you where the fruit trees is located, because there's more fruit trees that's back there. On the of my location, there is about 13 to 14 fruit tree that is planted. So, and then when we're talking about the seniors center of what that location is, there's another big quality of fruit tree that is planted. So each one has a long quality of what they have, but it is something that is asked to do in the Atlanta area. So I have to do this a little different now that I'm getting to see exactly the work that it's going to take. So I know we're going to take more, because there is a lot of residents that's in that what they call the old Atlanta area. And I think Ryan can contest to this, how bad it is that's over there. And that's where they want to do the park, where they want to do fruit trees and stuff.
Yeah. As a follow-up, have you had any challenges with the street trees in terms of like being able to keep them watered, or are you able to have partnerships so that people that are living nearby help keep them like
See,
maintained?
Brenna, I was trying to be nice. I was trying to take it easy, you know. But technically, yes, we do have challenges. And one of the greatest challenges was planting, but not knowing that it's going to get vandalized. As soon as we plant it, which is the Mother's Day, as soon as 24 hours, somebody else digging it up and taking it to whatever their location. And then I had to refurnish that back. And now we have to put a whole new different direction up on it. But you learn from the era. Because we thinking everybody's going to be excited, but you have that one person that wants to be able to selfishly do it for themselves. And that's what we have learned, and we with the vandalism and stuff. So we now know how to, and which we did. We put monitors and stuff like that. We have things a little bit more tight and a little bit more secure. But you asked that good question. So yes, and those are things that I would tell anybody. First of all, what location? Because if it's in an area that is need, you're going to need some type of security system. And that's what we did. We put a security system up wherever we at right now. Money is very costly. Very costly. But thank you for that question.
Yeah, go for it, Ann.
Yeah, follow up on that. What about like making the more fruit trees available for those who, if they're really taking them and planting them somewhere else, having smaller fruit trees, or propagating some, or having youth involved in saying you could pick this up or something, so that it becomes more of just a different approach. And maybe you've tried that, but I know vandalism is an issue, but sometimes if we make it available, take some of that pressure off, if you think that's the reason they're taking them.
And Anna, you're absolutely right. And on our meeting, this is what we talked about when we got hit in those areas, and people was very willing to do that. And that's what we have become to do, to making it more available for them. So we're trying to put the word out to say, you don't have to take, this is for you. And wherever you might feel that you might need, work with us to be part of something. Right now, these are the things that we have put in place, and we'll see how it works, because it happened in the early part of the 2019, and then on 6 months later, we was able to get things back together and share that, and we put it into the paper, and we did put a spread to indicate, we're here. This is for you. You don't have to take for something that's there. Work with us. So you're absolutely right. And so we're using those knowledge as we continuously to grow, and definitely as new people come apart and wants to be able to see the fruit trees come into existence.
That's great. Anyone else have any questions? We can also go into our breakout rooms now.
I was just wondering,
Yeah.
CJ, where are you getting your trees from, and what type of trees are you planting as far as fruit trees?
Well, good question. Now, Michelle is our liaison. She goes to one of the places out in the city of Hesperia. And she was the one that got me involved to be able to partner up with her and utilize her truck to go out there and pick up those trees. As I said, a daycare children location, and they have trees all over the place, and you can purchase them in the quantities, or you can purchase them singly. And the one that we started getting was a little bit more expensive, but it was the quality of what that we needed, and that worked out for us perfectly. The fruit trees that we actually planted, let me tell you exactly what that is. It's the apple, it's the cherries, the peach, apricot, the fig, locust, plums, and pears is what we planted. Those are to name a few that we did in the locations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And if you get a chance, Ryan, come on through. Come on up.
I may consider that.
All right. Well, for our first breakout room, it'll be in groups of 3 or 4. And just thinking after hearing CJ talk about their approach to community outreach and, you know, how they arrived at trees from a community health perspective. Just wondering what you all, if you have any takeaways or new ideas about community health partners you could partner with, or you could share about ones that you already have partnered with, or if you have fruit tree programs that you've been doing in your communities, kind of open topic to discuss about that and your takeaways from CJ's presentation. So I'll put you into groups for about 10 minutes. You can just introduce yourselves and then I'll see you all on the other side. Welcome back, everybody. I'm just gonna reshuffle these rooms really fast. So you might be with some of the same people, but hopefully some new ones. Oh, it's not. 1 second.
Did you give us our next topic?
Next topic is just to share. Today we were learning about a network group and the topics of the fruit trees, but also it's just really nice to get to know network members, and that's the main goal of these Learn Over lunches. So in the next group, I thought y'all could just share a little bit about how has some of your programming evolved over time, or CJ shared about how they've taken some turns and responded to community needs, and would love to just have you share with your groups about a time you've done that, or anything else you all want to talk about. I'm going to just check these groups real fast. Okay, hopefully you're with some new people. Sorry if there's some repeats. And we'll just be in these ones for a little bit less time. I'm going to give us 8 minutes. And yeah, and then we will close out. So here you all go.
So technical question, does when you're out of breakout rooms, the recording stops? You don't have to stop it yourself?
It does. I didn't realize at first it was recording. I was like sitting here by myself while you guys were all in the breakout rooms, and it was recording me. So I'm going to edit that out. But I meant to tell you guys that it in your rooms, that was private conversations, and those aren't.
You didn't do it a big interpretive dance, Sarah, so we could all see what you learned.
Did you have to pause it, or does it do it automatically?
I did pause it eventually. I realized I should pause it.
So that's how you have to technically. I need to learn the technical skills here. Okay.
Yeah, and then I resumed it right before you guys came back in. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us today, and big thank you to CJ for sharing about your work. Give you a round of applause on screen. And next month in September, we have Katie and the Roseville Urban Forest Foundation sharing. So we hope
some pivoting that they've done with funding changes over time. So
yeah, but hope you all stay cool this August, rest of August and September, and we'll see you next month. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.